Hi y'all, if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira, and today guys we are continuing my declutter series and we are moving on to bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. Woo! Let's get into it. Alright guys, so I have everything in front of me. Everything is kind of in a hodgepodge, which is part of the problem. Part of the issue that we're having here is that when you run out of space, you kind of just shove things in places. And I actually found some more powders that should have been in my complexion declutter. So I'll show this to you now. So I have here like the Pat McGrath. This is the under eye smoothing powder in the shade, or blurring under eye powder in the shade medium. As you can see, this is very faded. I have a hard time letting this go, and I tried to declutter it before, and mainly it's because I feel like this is a great powder, and it is. And I don't powder under my eyes at all. Like I don't set my under eyes, but I love this powder for other places on the face, and I kind of don't want to let go of it. I kind of like having it in my arsenal just in case. So for that reason, I'm gonna keep it. So we're gonna just sit it over here. And then another powder that I will be keeping is this mini hourglass. I've had this forever, and I think this is just gonna be good for me when I'm traveling to have and to throw in my bag. So I'm gonna keep that. And then another powder, let me pull that out, that got shoved in with highlighters is this mini Kosas powder. And you see how, this is how much is left of this. So I'm kind of tempted to just keep this and use it up, you know? So I'm going to keep it and use it up and then toss it. What I will surprisingly be getting rid of, guys, is this powder here. Yes, this is the very expensive, very, very loved Chantecaille Perfect Blur Finishing Powder, and this is the OG packaging. This is the packaging it came in when it was like limited edition before they came out with the permanent version, and they came out with I think 2 colors. This was the only color available at the time, which was this very pale shade that is actually too light for my skin most of the time unless I'm wearing like a deeper foundation or concealer. And I've tried to reach for this numerous times, but it just isn't right for me. And one of the reasons why I want to keep it is because it was so expensive, because I love the packaging, but not because of the actual product itself. And since we are trying to do a not necessarily brutal declutter, but at least a realistic declutter, I'm going to get rid of it finally. All right, so now that we've gotten those things out of the way, let's now dig into bronzers. So what I'm going to do here is try to move everything else out of the way so that I can get to the bronzers. So let's do that now. Alright guys, so this is, let me move these items out of the way so they're not distracting. This is my collection of bronzers. It's not a lot technically, but it's too much for me, especially considering what I use nowadays on a regular basis on my face. So let's go through the ones that are on the side here because these are cream bronzers exclusively. So first up we have Laguna 3 from NARS, and if you know me, you know this is one of my favorite bronzers. I will say I haven't been reaching for this as much as I used to, but I still want to have it on hand. However, I don't think I need 2 of them. So I have the original Laguna because when this first came out it was limited edition and it only came in 1 color. This one is quite cool on me, but it actually does work quite well, but Laguna 3 is probably a better shade match for me, so I'm going to keep Laguna 3. And Laguna, the original Laguna, is very old, and so it's probably just time for me. If I did want this, I'd probably just repurchase it. But yeah, this one's I've had for a while, so I think I'm gonna get rid of it. Next up, I have this Moira cream bronzer, which I like, but I haven't gotten a ton of use out of. And I do plan on doing a Moira video at some point, brand review, so I want to hold on to this just to have it so that I can use that in that video. But I have used this multiple times and it's a cream bronzer, so I'm gonna hold on to that. I then have this old e.l.f. putty bronzer, which I haven't reached for in ages. Actually, no, this isn't that one. Oh, wait, I got rid of that one. Okay, so this one is the bronzy, like, actually shimmery tone one that I actually really like, but haven't used in a while. Look how pretty that is. I'm gonna hold on to this one. I thought for some reason I forgot that I had two of these. I had the original one, the like non-shimmery one, that it was fine. It just wasn't as pigmented as I personally like in my bronzers. I don't like super pigmented bronzers, but I felt that one was just like way too light for me. Next up, I have the Stay Bronzer Sun Melt Natural Cream Bronzer in the shade Medium Bronze. This one I used quite a bit in the summer, and it's not bad, but I'm feeling like, if you can see here, you see how the oils are kind of like rising to the top. It's just, I don't know. This is one of those things with clean beauty that kind of drive me nuts. I just feel like this isn't good anymore. You know, it just feels very oily to the touch. I'm not a fan of that. I did like it as a bronzer. Like, I did think this was a decent bronzer. I just, after the fact, I'm just kind of like, it kind of grosses me out. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Then next up, we have this stick contour and bronzing stick. It's very melty. A lot of people didn't like this. I didn't mind it. I actually think it's quite pretty, but I never reach for it anymore. And I'm trying to sort of cull the herd a bit when it comes to my cream bronzers, because cream bronzers will go bad before a powder one will. So even though this is really pretty, and I have the shade Harmony, by the way, so this isn't me saying this is a bad product. It's actually a really good product. It's just one that I don't reach for much anymore. And again, I'm trying to sort of slim down my collection right now. Also, I will say this, as you can see, it's quite messy. This is really hard because it's so soft. It's incredibly pigmented. It's incredibly soft. This gets really messy, and I just don't know if this was the right vehicle for this product. I kind of wish it just came in a pot. But yeah, I'm going to get rid of that one. And then a friend of mine gave me this, and this is just really, really orange on me, and I'll show you guys. I don't know. I mean, I guess it isn't orange, but when I put it on, it felt orange on my skin tone. So it doesn't look that orange there. It doesn't look neutral, but it doesn't look super orange. Not as like maybe orange or warm as the e.l.f. does, but on my skin, this goes very, very orange. And so it just wasn't working for me. So I'm going to get rid of this. Next up, we have this Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Bronzer. I actually like this. Now, the blush I have mixed feelings about, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it, but the actual Tinted Moisturizer Bronzer, if you want something that just blends into the skin and makes it look really natural, it's actually really nice. I wasn't expecting to really like this because I've struggled so much with the blush version of this, but I actually do like this. I only really use it in the summer though, because I really love that sort of like sun-kissed glow vibe. Next up is another cream bronzer that will be going bye-bye, and that is the Sculptino in the shade Getty. Now, I really wanted to like this because I don't actually think the formula is bad per se. It is quite dewy, but the shade is very light on me, and the next shade up is too dark. So I don't feel like I actually have a shade in this formulation that I could feel comfortable using. I've often found myself, because I would use this a lot in the summer, this would just blend into my foundation in a lot of ways. And not in a necessarily like attractive way. It was just more like you couldn't even see it, because I don't tan a lot because I wear sunscreen and I kind of avoid the sun, but everybody gets a little bit of warmth to their skin in the summer, and I felt like I had just enough warmth where this just did not show up on me. So yeah, for that reason, I'm just gonna let it go. I wanted to like it, I wanted to get more use out of it, but the shade isn't right, and there are really no shades that I personally am interested in trying in that formulation. Then we have this bad boy, which I have decimated this thing. This is incredibly soft. Do you see this? This is the Give Beauty Pick It Up Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in Smoking. And I don't use the powder bronzer because it's quite orange. Do you see that? It's incredibly orange as a powder. But the actual like contour is a really nice natural, look at that. That's a natural like bronzer shade for me. It's neutral, it's not too warm, it's not cool, this is like perfect for me. I love a neutral toned bronzer. Something that won't make me look like a Oompa Loompa, but also something that isn't too cool that will make my skin look gray. So I personally don't think this is a great contour shade for me anyway. Maybe if you're a little bit lighter than me, yeah, but for me, I use this as a bronzer, and as you can see, I am using it up. I really like it. I'm probably going to pan this, and I'm keeping it. Next up is the last cream bronzer we're going to talk about, and this is the Phytosurgeon's Spectral Sunlight Cream Bronzer in the shade 6 Rosy Blaze. Looks like this. So messy, but this is such a beautiful shade, and this is a unique tone in my collection. It is a rosy toned bronzer. I love this. I've been loving this in, do you see the difference there? It has a little bit of pink in the undertone. It's not cool toned. It just has a little bit of rosiness to it, just a little. And this is perfect for this time of year, because this is basically like what my skin looks like. You know, as far as if I were to get bronzy in the winter, this is what that would look like, and I just love it. It is a formula that has a bit of a learning curve. You have to really make sure you're using the right kind of brush with it. But once you get the hang of it, it's actually really beautiful, and I'm very curious about the warm tone version of this. Phytosurgeons did two sort of like a tandem running bronzer range where you get the rosy tones and then the warm tones. So I'm really interested in trying the shade 6 of the warm tone in this formulation, but this is staying. And then let's get into powders. Now, I don't wear a lot of powder bronzer anymore. I have sort of exclusively gone over to the cream bronzer, liquid bronzer world. But there are a few, and I did get rid of quite a few powder bronzers as a result of that. Oh, let me grab this one while I'm thinking about it. Hold on one second. Where are you, darling? Are you in here? Yes, okay. So, I have kept some of the ones that I was still using when I wanted a powder bronzer. Now, I will say this. I do like powder bronzer more in the summer when my skin tends to be, my skin is normal to oily, but it can veer into oily when it gets really, really hot and humid. So I do like having powder bronzers available to me in my collection. So I don't think I'll ever get rid of all of my powder bronzers, but I do want to get rid of a few of these because some of these I've had forever. So one that will be staying is and I don't know, I just love this so much, but I don't know if it's, I don't know, it's very warm to me, and I don't know why I never noticed that. I don't know why I closed this and I won't open back up. Okay, I never noticed how warm this is. I tend to go for this side of it because it's light, but it's also shimmery. But you see how orange that is? And I don't know, for some reason I never noticed it until recently, and I think it's because I was using so many like cream bronzers that look like that when I put this on, my skin was like, what is that? So as much as I love this, at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep this, and now I'm swatching it and remembering why I wasn't really in love with it. Oh man, am I getting rid of my, this is, by the way, this Kevyn Aucoin Neo bronzer in the shade Sundown Deep. Oh man, am I getting rid of this? I actually think I am. Whoa. Now, you know what? I'm going to think about it because I might change my mind. It's one of those products I've had and I've reached for forever, and they're just like, it's like a staple, so it's very hard for me to like want to get rid of it. My next two are my two Pat McGrath bronzers. I have Divine Bronzer in Bronze Nirvana. Looks like this. And then I have the Divine Bronzer in Desert Glow. Looks like this, and as you can see, this one is far more used than this one. Now this one is more neutral, or is lighter, but this one is my fave because it has a teeny bit of shimmer to it. Yes, it is slightly orange, but when you blend it out to the skin, it just gives this beautiful glow to the skin. So even though the Kevyn Aucoin is quite similar, I kind of prefer this one more because this one is just, it's not as pigmented, it's more finely milled, and so it just kind of looks more elegant on the skin than the Kevyn Aucoin. So I'm gonna keep this, but what I might wind up doing is, let's see guys, let's do a little moment here. But you can kind of see what I mean. Do you see how this one is so much more orange than that one? Like, this is quite warm, but look how warm that one is. Oh no. Am I going to get rid of the Kevyn Aucoin? I love this shade. Like, just this part right here is just like my fave. Look how pretty that is. And it doesn't deposit that much color. So this over like blush is just so pretty. I don't know, man. I love both of those. I'm going to think on the Kevyn Aucoin, but I'm definitely keeping that Pat McGrath one. Now this one, on the other hand, I'm going to do away with. This is the one that is not shimmery. And what I've come to find when it comes to powder bronzers, it's also quite orange. Like, see how orange that is? It's not bad on the skin once you blend it out, but it's very orange. What I've come to find with powder bronzers is that if I'm going to use a powder bronzer, it's probably going to have some shimmer to it. It's just what I prefer. It just kind of gives the skin a bit more dimension, makes it look less flat, as powders can often do. So I think for that reason, that's one of the reasons why I just didn't reach for this as much. This came as a duo, by the way. I bought these for a review and I reviewed both of them. I absolutely loved Desert Nirvana, and I wasn't as impressed by Bronze Nirvana because it was flat matte powder. So yeah, I think for that reason I'm going to say goodbye to this. Not because I think the formula is just as good as Desert Nirvana. I just don't love the matte formulation. And then finally, these two bad boys that I've had forever and a day. And it's probably time to let them both go. This one is the first like powder shimmery bronzer I ever tried, and I was, oh my god, look at that. I've had it forever. I've had it for, oh god, it's so pretty though. I love a shimmery bronzer in a powder formulation. It's so pretty. Look at that. It's very similar to the e.l.f. actually in tone. But look at that. Oh, it's so stunning. But I've had this forever and I feel like I should get rid of it now, but I love it so much. But I haven't reached for it in ages. Like, it kind of just gets forgotten about because I do have newer bronzers that do that. I feel like if I'm gonna keep this, then I probably need to get rid of at least the Kevyn Aucoin. I don't need all three of these. Okay, we're gonna get rid of the Kevyn Aucoin. I'm doing it because I'm looking at how orange that is and it's kind of ridiculous. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna get rid of this one. This is the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzer Duo, and it's a matte and shimmer bronzer, and this is Sunkissed Bronze. I used to love this, and what I love, it's still so silky to the touch. Wow. This just has, look at that tone. Look how pretty that is. It's such a beautiful tone, but I just don't use this anymore. And I never really use the shimmery side because the shimmery side is actually too shimmery in my opinion. It's almost like a highlighter. You see that? It's just a little too much, whereas it doesn't have the fine, like sort of finely milled shimmer there. This just feels like a bronzy highlighter. So I never reached for that, but I was obsessed with this shade. But the last time I used this, I wasn't as in love with it. And even though I'm swatching it now and I think it's really pretty, I do think it's time to let it go. I've had it forever. I've had it longer than I've had this one, I think. So yeah, it's beautiful, and it still swatches beautifully, but it's just, it's time. It's time. All right, guys, so let's see what I am keeping, and I'm gonna put it all in this drawer here. I think it'll all fit actually. Let's see. Shut up. All of my bronzers are in one drawer, guys. That is so exciting. I'm so proud of myself. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna clean my hand off and we'll move on. All right, and if you want to see what I am getting rid of, let's put what I'm getting rid of in front of you guys so you can see. Because I actually got rid of quite a bit, more than, you know, I had actually thought I was gonna get rid of. So that's pretty good. So this is what I've gotten rid of, and that is one, let's see. That's 8 plus a powder. That's not bad. Is that right? 8. Can I count? Yeah, 8 plus a powder. That's not too shabby. 8 bronzers out of here. I was trying to decide if I was going to do highlighters first or blushes, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do blushes because I usually apply my blush before I apply my highlighter. And also highlighters are going to get really, really shimmery, and that's going to be a pain to sort of swatch blushes if I just opt to swatch blushes over shimmer. So let's do that first. So let's pull out all of the blushes. Alright guys, these are all of my blushes. This is a lot of blush. I will say this is a lot of blush. I came to the blush game late, but I did arrive and I never left. You know, I came to the party and I stayed. So I love blush. I am veering more towards, again, more towards cream to liquid blushes. Right now, that could change. I'm not anti-powder blush, but I am noticing that when I'm looking to purchase a blush, I am not as apt to reach for a powder blush unless it is shimmery. I love a powdery shimmery. It's very similar to how I am with my bronzers. You got to give me a little something extra if you're going to be a matte powder, or a powder. So let's just get into this here. This is quite the stack. I'm going to sit this one on this stack here. All right, so let's start off with these two, which are my two M Cosmetics blushes. Oh wait, I'm missing two blushes. I have more M Cosmetics blushes. Hold one second. So guys, so I got these, and I also remember that I didn't show you my liquid bronzer when I was decluttering my bronzers. This was sitting next to it. This is the Armani Luminous Still Glow Liquid Bronzer, and I think the reason why I didn't even think of this is because it's not going anywhere. Like, I love this, and it's beautiful. It is a liquid bronzer. I use this a ton in the summer. It is a beautiful product. It stays. Alrighty, and it fits in the drawer with all my other bronzers. Alrighty, so these are the other M Cosmetics. So I was like, wait, these are my only M Cosmetics. Nope, I have two of the liquid ones here. So first, let's talk about these because these are the ones that I actually purchased first. So this one is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow Radiant Veil Blush in Persimmon, and it is an orange shimmer, and she looks like that, and she is stunning, and she is beautiful. She is Grace. She is not going anywhere. Her sister Faded Clementine, also not going anywhere. One of my all-time favorite blush shades, not going anywhere. Love that formulation. These two are the liquid ones. These, I have the shades Venetian Rose and Little Lilac, and I love these as well. These are incredibly pigmented. They are more dewy. I would say these are dewier than the Rare Beauty ones, but the pigmentation is similar. So this is a little bit more liquidy, a little more dewy, but pigmentation is pretty comparable. But I'm keeping both of these as well. Next up, we have this little mini that I recently reviewed from Natasha Denona. This is the Glow Blush, and it's the little mini trio shade like this. I'm going to keep this for now. I will say I wasn't as impressed by this as I thought I would have been because I really love this shade here and this shade here, but I don't feel like these blend all that well together. I don't get as much shine on my face as I would want. I was hoping I would get that glowy blush look, and I just, for some reason, don't. But the shades are really beautiful, and they are very pigmented. But again, it could just be that I'm just like not feeling the whole matte powder blush thing. We'll see. I'm gonna hold on to it for now because it is relatively new. All right, and now let's get into the others. So this is my One House Lab blush, and I have the shade Acai Sky. It looks like this. As you can see, this is barely used. I bought this to try and then never tried it. I do plan on doing eventually doing a House Labs review, brand review, but I'm not getting rid of this. I bought this at a time, again, I said this in one of my other declutters, that just be careful about when you're in transitional periods with your makeup about what you're buying, because I bought this and I wasn't using it because I was reaching for my liquid blushes more than powder. And this is a beautiful blush. I want to get more use out of it. But yeah, the only reason why this hasn't gotten that much use is because I was using all of my like cream and liquid blushes. But I'm holding on to that because again, it's relatively new to me. It hasn't gotten much use. I can't even give you my opinion on it. Like I think I've maybe swatched it on my face once, and I know I swatched it on my hand. And that's about it. All right, next up is this Makeup Forever blush. This is the Artist Blush in the shade Spirited Sienna. This is another blush I want to get more use out of. This one is actually, if I can get it open, hold on one moment, a shimmery orange. Look at that. How stunning is that? So delicious. It's so pretty. Oh, look at that. I want to know, I kind of just want to know how close it is to Persimmon. Not that it really matters because Persimmon's not going anywhere. And spoiler alert, neither is the Makeup Forever. Oh, look guys, they're not the same. Oh, look at that. They're not the same. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I love when that happens, when you think something's similar and you're like, oh no, I've got dupes. No, I don't. Haha. It stays. Love this. So pretty. And again, this kind of goes to show that like I am partial, if I'm going to do a matte, like a powder blush, that it's going to have some shimmer to it. Let's see. let's go for the Too Faced. I'm not doing the Pats yet because I have to have a whole talk about the Pats. So let's do this Too Faced. So this is the Too Faced Cloud Crush in the shade Candy Clouds. This is one of those shades that everybody was going crazy for. This is a beautiful blush, guys. This does not have any shimmer to it, but I don't know what it is about the formulation of this blush. It is so stunning on the face. It is incredibly pigmented. It reads as a really beautiful bright pop of pink on me that just kind of gives me like, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful blush, and I love it more than I was expecting to. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this. And let's see, something that I'm gonna get rid of, my Clinique Cheek Pop blush in Black Honey Pop. I've used this a bit. I was never like a huge fan of this formulation. I don't think it's bad. It's just not one that I love, and I've tried to get use out of this, and I have gotten a decent amount of use out of it, but I feel like it would take me forever and a day to get through this, and I'm just kind of over it. So, and I've had it forever. It's not a newer, this is an older blush in my collection, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And then let's do this bad boy because this is just going away. So this is the Valentino Liquid Rosso. It says liquid lipstick, but when you go on the website, it says it's a liquid lipstick and a blush. I bought it to wear as a blush, and and then I hated it as a blush, so I tried it as a lippy, and I hated it as a lippy. This is just not a good product, especially for the price point. It's just, do you see how patchy that is? And it's patchy like that on the lips and on the face, so what's the point, you know? So it's kind of annoying that I spent as much money as I did on this, but I can now tell you guys to avoid these because they're not good. And the melts, this is where things are gonna get kind of hard for me because I think I'm just gonna get rid of these guys. I have the Sandy Cheeks one. This is the cream blush light. It's so pretty, it's so pigmented, but I haven't used this in ages, and I don't think I will be using it, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of it. And then I have my love Honey Thief. This is the powder blush, super light but super pigmented on the cheeks, just so pretty, but I just don't reach for it anymore. I don't reach for these blushes anymore, and I've had them both for a while, so I'm doing away with my melt. All right, so next up, let's do this one here, and I believe this is a Fashion Fair one, and I bought this, guys, and I don't think I've ever used it. It's, yeah, look how brand new that is. So I think I'm gonna try and pass this off to a friend because this is too deep for me. I don't know what I was smoking when I bought this, but this is too dark for me, and it's beautiful, and it's never been used. I'm gonna give this away. And then my only luminous putty blush from e.l.f., and this is in the shade, I think this is Barbados. The stickers, oh wait, no, here it is. Okay, Barbados, yes. This is a shimmery bronzer, shimmery blush. Oh, look at this shade though. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty on the skin. I bought this, did I buy this last summer? It might have been last summer, or was it before? I can't remember, but this I love, and it's a cream and it's shimmery. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. It's really pretty. I will say I feel like the luminous putty blushes are easier to use than the ones that are matte. It's just they're just a bit more emollient and easy to like blend. Next up is this blush from Laura Mercier, and I talked about how I love the tinted moisturizer bronzer, but I struggle with the blush. This is the thing. Oh, and now it's liquidy. Okay, maybe it's time to let it go. It's gotten separated now, but it's a beautiful shade when it wants to work properly. But as you can see, it's so liquidy, guys. Look at this, that it's almost like it never actually like blends into the skin because it's that moisturizer like consistency that it's watery and then patchy. And the only way that I've been able to make this work, I can't make it work when I apply it with my fingers. I can apply it well if I use a sponge, or you know, if I turn my head and cough a certain way. Like that's how it's even some days the sponge works, some days it doesn't. Sometimes I have to hop on one foot and then it'll work. It's just too difficult of a product. I wanted to love it because I do like the tone, and this is the shade Coastline, but it just is a weird formula, so I'm getting rid of it. Next up is this stick blush from Pat McGrath called Sunkissed Seduction. I have barely gotten any use out of this. Like I bought this right around the time that I was using other things, and I just never got around to this one. And honestly, guys, this is just too dewy for me. It's very, as you can kind of see here, it's just very, I don't know. This for me, maybe I should have gotten it a different color. I don't know. I love the terracotta vibe of this one, but it's sticky. It's a no. I'm just going to get rid of it. And then next up is this old blush that I've used, or that I've had from Gen C, it's the Cheek Lip color in Apple 1. It's incredibly red. It's very pretty, but I don't use this as much as I would want to use this. It's incredibly, you see how pink that is? It's incredibly pigmented, but this is not a shade that I use very often. Like I kept it because I'm like, oh, it'll be nice to have. And it is, like, but it's also like, I don't use it. So what's the point? So I'm just going to get rid of it. We're chugging through this one quite quickly. This is my Tower 28 in the shade this is the Beach Please blush in Power Hour. This is very old, and I think it's just time to do away with it. I love the shade of this though. I'm like not even gonna lie to you guys. I love the shade of this. It's so pretty. Oh, it's still so nice on the skin though. Can I get some use out of this? I'm gonna put this to the side because I actually just want to compare it to a couple other things I have. Yeah, hold on a second. So I have this Moira one that's kind of like a dupe, even the packaging. And this is the Moira Love Heat Cream Blush in the shade I Respect You, or Respect You. And this is very similar. I will say it's a bit goopier though. Yeah, I've tried this one on my skin and I don't dislike it, but the texture is not quite as elegant as the the Tower 28. That's really pretty. Okay. I just want to see something because I'm like, do I need to keep that? I just want to see. Hold on a second. Let's do a little comparison of some things that I own. So I have this shade from About Face. This is Smash. I was obsessed with this shade for forever, and this is like the only thing I was wearing for a very long time. Oh, this is brighter. This is brighter. Can you see that? It's brighter. It's also almost like a kind of like dries down to like a powdery finish, but it is like a cream when you apply it. Then I have this one, which I'm definitely getting rid of. This is the Half Magic Beauty, what is this called? The Cheek Fluff and Only Drama. I hated this. I'm sorry, guys. I hated it so much. I hated the formulation. I hated the way it looked on me. This was a no-go for me. So I knew that was getting decluttered. Let's look at this one. I just want to see what I have that's similar to this Tower 28 one, if I need to keep it, because I love the shade so much. So this is the Danessa Myricks in the oh, this is very pink. This is much pinker. This is the shade Rosé and Brunch, and this is the Yummy Skin. Is it a blurring blush? Might be. It's similar to the Moira one, but just definitely more pigmented and brighter. So, and then I have this one, which is one of the, oh, that's so not the same shade, but I love it so much. So this is, oh, look how pretty that is. This is one of the Armani. This is the shade 60, which I believe is Cool Plum. This isn't going anywhere, by the way. I'm just gonna sit this over here. I love this formulation, and I think they discontinued these, and I've been looking for other shades in it for ever and a day, and I can't find them, and I'm just really sad about that. So, oh, and then I have these. Let's look at these Liss Beauty ones, or LYS. I always say Liss, but it's LYS. So this is one of the minis, and this is the shade Empower. Warming up. Oh, that's deep. Oh, whoa, look at that. Not the same. This shade I feel like is too deep for my skin. This was sort of on the chopping block, and then swatching it here, I just feel like it's too deep for me, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. I do have this one that the thing broke, but I still really love the tone, but I haven't used this in ages, so we'll see. So we're gonna swatch this one here. Oh, look at that. Look how pretty that is. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it though, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna compare it to some other things as well, but I guess this is just turned into a comparison video as opposed to declutter, but I'm just trying to see, like, I don't want to keep dupes of each of things in the same type of formula because it kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm just trying to see if I have anything that is similar to that Tower 28 blush, because I just love the shade. Now, having said that, I could declutter this and just get a new one. I could do that. I have a hard time doing that without actually panning something, so we'll see. This is Venetian Rose. Let's just see what this is giving. Oh god, look how pretty that is. Look at that brownie rosewoody tone. Oh, these are so nice. The packaging, the component is terrible, but the formula itself, so nice. So No, I don't see anything. I did have one in the Fenty formulation, but I don't think I still do. Or do I? Oh, wait. I have the... Okay, so these I've had forever. You know, I got these when these first came out. As you can see, it is very similar to Power Hour. But these are both old AF. Like, they are old. And so I feel like this one is even older. So I think I'm going to get rid of the Fenty because it's just old. And then the Tower 28. I'm going to get rid of as well. I'm going to get rid of as well. This is the thing about it. This is a clean beauty brand, and I do get a little nervous holding on to clean beauty brands that, you know, as far as like the stability of the formulas, them going bad, because I don't want to put this on my face and then break out. And that's kind of, you know, that's happened to me with a few clean beauty products where the product itself didn't look bad and it was still usable, but my skin didn't love it. So I'm going to get rid of this for that reason, but I think I might eventually repurchase it because I do love this tone. All right, that was a very long and winding road, but I needed to do some science. That was for science. I needed to know. Okay, so now that we know, I'm keeping the Moira. I'm gonna... All right, which one? So this is the LYS here. And this is, by the way, this is a mini in the shade Grateful. I got those two in like a, what's the word I'm looking for? And like a gift set for the holidays. Not this past holiday season, but the last. So I just want to compare it to my current favorite, like neutrally pink. Oh, look at that. Oh no, man. Those are both really nice. Okay. The Moira, let me smell it. Still smells good. Doesn't smell bad or anything. I'm going to hold on to for now. I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of that. I may change my mind on that. This is my Charlotte Tilbury Matte Liquid Blush Wand in the shade Pillow Talk. It goes nowhere. This was one of my favorite products of 2023. I absolutely love that thing, and I think it feels like it's almost empty, and I will be repurchasing this. All right, so now that we've gone down that winding road, the Danessa Myricks Rosé and Blush. Okay, I really wanted to like this, guys, but I don't love the formula on my skin. I just don't. It's too, I feel like it's too matte once I put it on. It has that sort of blurring technology that she has in a lot of her Yummy Skin products, and for me that's not really what I'm looking for in a blush. So I love the tone, but I just wasn't a huge fan of the formula, and when I bought it I wore it like, I want to say 5 times, maybe 6, and I was just kind of like, I don't think I like this, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Next up, we have the other Fenty Beauty, which I'm also going to get rid of because I've had this forever. I love this tone. This is the Cool Berry tone, but I don't wear it. Haven't worn it in ages. It's got a shimmer to it that is really lovely, but I would say these are probably the only Fenty products that I truly love. I'm not a huge Fenty person. A lot of the stuff has been really hit or miss for me, but these are really, really old, so I'm going to declutter them. I'm also gonna now wipe my hand off because I have no more space. All right, guys, hand has been cleaned off, and in the interim, I have decided that I'm gonna go ahead and just declutter this LYS Beauty one. It's just, I don't know, I feel like it feels a little old to the touch. Even though it's not, it just kind of feels that way. And again, I'm kind of like trying to get rid of things that I feel like are kind of on their way out. Next up is this other Neo Nude from Armani. This is another cream one. This is the orange one, and this one feels creamier than the other one. The thing about it is, as much as I love this, I don't know if I love it on me, this shade. But I also don't want to get rid of it because it's like, I can't get these anymore. You know what I mean? Like when something's like, you can't get it anymore. And when I'm wearing orange blush, I really do love a shimmery orange, not so much a flat orange. I love this one, which is matte, which is like a matte shade. I love this one on me. This one, every time I have it on, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to get rid of it. I'm going to hold on to this and see if someone wants it, because again, these are so hard to come by that I don't want to just like toss it. And I haven't used it that much. I've used it like a handful of times. I do love the formula, and it's still pretty decent. So I'm going to see if someone wants this, but I am going to take it out of my own personal collection. I'm going to set this on the side there. All right, now I'm gonna move the pats out of the way for now. Let's talk about these bad boys. So This shade that I love is the Coco Felicita from Milani. I'm not a huge Milani person anymore. I used to be a big Milani person, but they kind of turned me off a bit. Some of their social media posts I felt were a little trashy, little not what I would want a professional brand to be doing. So I was a bit turned off from that. But the products themselves are actually really nice, and I still reach for these. I've had them for a little while, but I still love them. Let me see if I can get that open again. Yeah, so this is Coco Felicita. Look at how pretty this is. My hand is a little wet still from wiping off, but look at how pretty this tone is. And it's got a bit of shimmer to it. Actually, this is actually a really good dupe for the Tower 28. It's just a little browner with a little shimmer. Oh, I forgot how much I love this shade. It's so pretty. And this is the shade Rose D'Oro. I know everyone loves Luminoso, but I actually think this one does for me what Luminoso does for the other girlies. Look at that. On me, this goes really like peachy, pinky, and Luminoso is just a little too light for me sometimes. I feel like I've had Luminoso and it never quite did for me what it did for everybody else, but Rose D'Oro does. So these are older, but I still love them, and so I'm gonna keep them. And Coco Felicita, I don't even think you can get anymore. I think that was a discontinued shade, so yeah. And my Chantecaille Emotion, this is the cheek shade, and the shade Emotion is the one that had the B on it. Oh, how pretty is that? This shade, it's incredibly light, but when it's, it looks like it would not work on my skin, but it's one of those like shades that looks super light, and then you put it on your cheeks and you blend it out, and it's so pretty. But I just feel like I don't wear this very often anymore. Like I just haven't reached for it in ages. It does have a little bit of shimmer to it, which I love, but not enough. You know, like it's there. You see it more when you first buy this and the bee embossing is on it. You can kind of see the bee like catch the light, but you can see it when you look at it like this. But like under the light, I'm sure you guys can maybe see it a little bit, but not completely. And it's just not something I reach for anymore. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this. End of an era. This was like my go-to for so long. All right, guys, this is empty. So I'm gonna put some blushes in here because now I can put blushes in here. And then we're gonna go over the next ones, which are my Pat McGraths. But yeah, I can sit these in here because I have space. Alrighty, that's exciting. Look at that, oh my goodness. I'm gonna sit these in here too for now. They sit on the top, but on my like actual makeup desk, but I'm gonna sit in there right now. All right, let's go over these bad boys here because there will be some culling going to this herd. Okay, so let's talk about the ones that I absolutely will be keeping. Not that one. This one. This is my Desert Orchid. And when I say that I love a matte blush, but I love a blush that has shimmer, this is what I'm talking about. Look how stunning this is. This is one of my all-time favorite blushes ever in the history of blush. I love this. I wear it all the time. I'll put it this way. I used to wear it all the time. I haven't worn it in a little while because, again, I've been on my like cream and liquid blush journey, but I would never declutter this because I always need to have this in my collection. It's just a must-have for me no matter what. So this will stay. And then next up is Divine Rose 2 or Divine Rose 3. I was looking for like a really neutrally toned like mauve pink, and this just comes off as very coral on me. You can see that it's barely used. I think I've used this twice. I was not a fan of how this looked on my skin. Now, the Pat McGrath blush formula is stunning. Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. But this shade on me, not stunning. So I'm just going to give this away because you can see it's barely been used. So I'm gonna just give this away to a friend. I'm traveling in April and I'll have some people that I can see if they want things and I can just like take it to them. This is a highlighter, so that needs to go over there. Next up is Paradise Venus. This is another one that I really love that I haven't used in a while. This is just flat, but because of how finely milled her blushes are, I don't know if you guys can see that on my hand. Because of how finely milled her blushes are, it's almost like they have shimmer in them, even though they don't. They're just really finely milled. They're that like sophisticated of a formula. I'm gonna keep Paradise Venus, but I will be getting rid of this next one because I just don't wear it. This is one of those shades when you buy a shade because you aspire to be the type of person that wears a specific type of shade. This one, I feel like, of the ones that I've tried from her, is the one that I like the least. Not the tone. The tone I think is pretty. The formulation. I feel like this one is one of those, and it could be because of the amount of pigment that's in it, because it takes a lot of pigment to get something this bright. I don't feel like this blends as well as her other shades. And so as a result, I don't reach for it as much, but also I don't reach for it as much because the shade is not really my shade. It's a beautiful blush, but I don't wear it, so I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm not gonna throw it away. Again, I think I'm gonna take this to a friend because this is one that I've worn maybe 5 times at the most. All right, let's do, what should we do next? Let's do these. So we have this one. This is one of the newer powder blushes to my collection. And again, this is sort of like an exception to the rule as far as blushes go. This is the shade. Look how beautiful that is. This is like my new obsession. I go through phases with blush colors where I'm obsessed with a very specific blush color and all I want are blushes in that color. This is where I'm at right now. Like this beigey, neutrally, maybe a hint of pink, but maybe not. It doesn't need it. I don't really need the pink, but if it's there, it's fine. Can live with it. But I'm into these really neutrally toned blushes. And this one actually does have some shimmer to it, but it's so neutral tone. It looks almost like it doesn't even show up on my skin. But on my face, guys, it reminds me of the Chantecaille in that way, in that it looks way too light for me, but it has such a beautiful pigmentation to it, and it blends so beautifully that it's just like this really beautiful natural looking blush. But it does show up on my skin, surprisingly, and I'm kind of obsessed with it, and I was using it so much during the summer, and I will continue to use it. It's beautiful. And again, this is the shade, I'm sorry, I don't even know if I told you guys, this is the Luminous Silk Glow Blush in the shade 11, which I think is Nude Rose or Nude Rome, something like that. It's Nude Rome something, Nude Rose something. All right, then I have, and I'm gonna do these because I know that all of these are going, so I'm just gonna show them to you because, and the reason why these are going is because I don't reach for them anymore, but also I've had these forever and a day. And I love how they look like little bars of soap. So the first one that's going is my, this is the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duo Matte and Shimmer in the shade Soft Peach. This is another one of those unicorn shades. It looks super light, but then I put it on my skin and it blends beautifully, but I've had this forever. I don't reach for it. It's old, it needs to go. This shade, this is the shade Sweet Mulberry, and this shade, oh man, I love it so much. And it kind of looks like the Cool Berry shade. Oh God, I love it so much. I've been trying to find something that looks like this shade on me, and I can't find it. I don't know if I just need to buy a fresh version of this, like a new one. But do you see how purple that is? The problem that I'm having with a lot of blushes that are supposedly purple, and this is incredible, you guys can see how pigmented this is. It's just like boom, boom. I do have issues blending these sometimes because they're so pigmented. They're not like as sophisticated of a formula as the Pat McGrath, which are quite pigmented but blend really well. These you kind of do have to battle with a little bit, but and this is like pieces of tissue from my hand. Most blushes like these go pink on me, or they look like a bruise. And this one just stays purple on my skin. Like it just looks like a really beautiful purple blush. And I think they just did a beautiful job understanding how to keep the undertones from veering too far in any specific direction. And I just love this shade so much. And so whenever I was going through a phase of looking for a purple blush, and this is the blush that I was using as my litmus test. This was the one that was like, are you as good as Sweet Mulberry? I haven't found one. But I don't wear this blush anymore, and I've had it forever again, and it's a powder. I would love if I could find this shade in a shimmer. Not this. I don't actually like the shimmer parts of these blushes. I don't think they're that good. The shimmer side of them, the matte blush is beautiful, but these I just feel like look like really bright highlighters. So yeah, I just need something that's as good as Sweet Mulberry in my life. Warm Honey was my go-to. I wore this so much. I'm wiping it off now. I should have done that with the other ones, but that's okay. This is what it looks like. This shade was just like my jam. Look at that. It's so pretty. But again, old, had forever, don't reach for anymore. Time to go. All right, move these out of the way. Got so much stuff on the side here, guys. It's kind of ridiculous how much stuff we've gotten rid of already. All right, now let's do these two. We're just gonna do these all together because let's go. These are going. These were in my worst products or my most disappointing products of 2023, which is my nice way of saying worst products 2023. I have these are the NARS Afterglow Liquid Blushes and Behave and Wanderlust. These are terrible. I don't even know if I want to rehome them. Maybe I'll try to rehome them. I don't know. We'll see. They're barely been used, so I might see if one of my friends wants them, but I can't recommend them to anyone. I'm like, you can have these. They're trash, but you can have them. This one was given to me by a friend, and I really want to try this blush in a shade that works for me. This is Sweet Berries, and it's really pretty, and it is a purple. But guys, these are like liquid lipsticks. Look how pigmented this is. That's a blush. And this is not a purple, it's like a plum. So on me, this is gonna look very bruisey. It's kind of similar to that Half Magic Beauty shade. This looks like a really pigmented bruise on my skin, and it's just, yeah, this is intense. So I like the formula. I'm intrigued by the formula, but I can't. I mean, look how much that stains. Oh my gosh. I can't wear that. I can't wear that. Next up that's going is the Chanel Le Beige Eau de Blush. I had the foundation version of this, which I decluttered, and I'm probably going to declutter this one as well because it basically just does the same thing. Like, no. Like, no. First time I use it, again, I was like, oh, that's kind of pretty. But I wasn't in love with it, and I just, every time I pick this up, this is my first time trying to use this, and every time I go to pick it up and use it, I'm like, no. It's just, I don't, why do you need a blush in that kind of formulation? I don't think you do. Alright, this is the Kulfi Mindy Moment Blush, and I have it in the shade Sandalwood Swirls. I didn't like this, guys. I didn't like it. I didn't like the formulation. It didn't last on my skin. It's just, it's too creamy, but oddly not that pigmented on me, and then faded on me completely. Like halfway through the day, this was just gone on my skin. So this is Sandalwood Swirls. I feel like I have a million blushes that are sort of that same shade, so I don't feel like it's that particularly unique. Yeah, and honestly, I would have included that in my most disappointing products had the NARS not come and just like knocked it right out of that spot. Next up are my About Face Beauty blushes. I have the shade Smash. Love it. Very pretty, keeping. And then I have the shade Cowgirl, which looks like this, which has mostly just been swatched, but it feels kind of weird to the touch. Like it feels, oh, and then I dug my nail into it, so that's fine. It just feels weird. But also this shade, oh, this is interesting. Okay, hold on a second. Let's look at this. Because as I'm putting this on my skin, it just doesn't feel, do you see how that's like not, and I don't know if that's because of the Chanel that was on my skin, but do you see how like not pigmented that is? That was not the way the other one was acting. Let's try this one. Now I'm just kind of like, what's going on, About Face? What's good, Holmes? Is that one doing it too? This one's just kind of, I don't know how I feel about these. These feel like they're like not, does that look weird to you guys? I feel like this one, the orange one, there's barely any pigment. I don't know if it's just like, but this one was much richer. It used to be much richer than this, and I don't know if it's just losing its pigment. I've had these since these came out. I bought these when they first launched, which was I think like, when was that? When did these launch? How long have I had these? 2020. They might be a couple years old then, because I think these may have come out in 2022 maybe. I don't know, guys. I think I'm gonna get rid of these. They feel like they're not, neither one of them are performing like I remember them performing. So I'm kind of like, what's the point? That orange one was really disappointing. Wow. Okay. That's sad. I actually really liked that formula, but you know, c'est la vie. All right, now on to this one. I have a lot in here that I haven't used enough to really form an opinion on. A friend of mine gave me this. This is the Milk Lip and Cheek and Muse. Looks like this. I feel like this is too red for me. Yeah. You know what that looks like? It kind of looks like that shade Temptress that I decluttered from Pat McGrath. I'm gonna say no to this, but I'm gonna see if I can pass it on to someone because it is not, it's unused except for being swatched on my hand. So yeah, and it's very sticky. Oh no, we don't do sticky in this house. All right, I'm getting rid of quite a bit, guys. I'm actually getting rid of more than I was anticipating. All right, next up are these two blushes. So I have the Moira one, which is Lucky Chance in the shade Melody. Can I get this open? There we go. That's cute. It says self-love, endless happiness. I don't know what that means, but okay. Self-love, endless happiness. I don't know. This is pretty though. I might keep it for that Moira video that I'm planning on doing eventually. I keep like meaning to do it, and then I'll buy things, and I've tried quite a bit from Moira already and kind of like even panned some things. So maybe one day I'll get to it. I don't know. This feels like it doesn't have enough pigment for my taste. Like I'm really piling it on there, but that's not how I would apply it to my face. I'm gonna get rid of it. I already have the cream one I'm gonna keep, so that'll do. Now let's do this NYX one, and this NYX one is very interesting because it's kind of like a cream to powder. It's very creamy to the touch. Like it swirls like a cream, but it is a powder, and it is very pretty. But I feel like I have this shade kind of a million times over in a lot of ways. Now I did get rid of my Melt blushes that were kind of this shade, so maybe not, but I have these, and I'll show you these in a mo that I feel like could do the same thing. So I'm gonna get rid of this. Next up I have two from Rare Beauty. I like the Rare Beauty blushes. I'm not like obsessed with them like a lot of people are. I have the shade Virtue, which I think is stunning. It's just this really beautiful, look at that, how pretty that is. So I do really like this, so I'm gonna be keeping that. And then I have a mini of the shade Hope, which I've also been wearing and really liking. So, and it's definitely like a neutrally pink. Very pretty. I use this quite a bit. I've been wearing this, so, and you see how it kind of blends out to a more of like a mauve tone. So I like these. I'll keep them. Again, I think the Rare Beauty ones are nice. I think they're a little bit overhyped. I will say that, but they're nice. The main thing that everybody says is just a little goes a long way, and that is very, very true. This is the Revlon Gel Serum Blush in the shade, this is the Luminance Revlon Gel Serum Blush in the shade, which shade? 110. It had a name. This is what I hate about drugstores. Like, what's the name? But it's very pretty. I'll show you guys. And this kind of reminds me of like a more liquidy formula version of that Fenty one in Cool Berry. Do you see how it kind of has that like purple tone to it, but it's got shimmer in it as well. This applies to the face so nicely. It kind of, you know what? It kind of feels like a better formulated version of the Laura Mercier, like that like tinted moisturizer blush. And what I like about this is you can apply it with your fingers, you can apply it with a brush. It's just, it's very pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna be keeping this. Wipe my hand off again because I'm just like going insane with the blushes here. And then I have three of the Camo blushes from e.l.f. I featured this one in a video recently that I did. This one is, I really like this shade, but it is hard to get to work. I'm gonna keep it though because it's kind of presenting a challenge because I love this shade so much, and I feel like once I can, it's just very pigmented. I'll put it this way, it's just very pigmented. You have to be really careful about how you apply it and what you apply it with, how much you use, and I still overestimate how much to use. So once I get to a point where I can figure out how much to use, I think this blush and I will be besties, but right now we're just still getting to know each other. Another one that I thought I would like the most, but I haven't really liked the most, is Dusty Rose. I'm gonna keep it for now because it's new. And I got this, these are dupes for the Rare Beauty ones, and I thought this would be a really good dupe for Hope, but I'll show you guys. Hope is quite a bit more cool toned and more pink leaning than that one. That one's, even though this is called Dusty Rose, do you see how coral it is next to Hope? It's very corally. But these are supposed to be dupes for the Rare Beauty, and I will say these are pretty good dupes for them because you have the same issues with these that you have with the Rare Beauty, which is like, don't use too much or you regret your life choices. All right, and then we have this one, which I haven't taken out of the box yet, guys. I bought like 2 shades, and then I want to buy another shade. I bought these from Ulta, and then I want to place an order with e.l.f. Let's open this one up and just see if this is worth whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is very bright. Oh my goodness. I don't know, guys. I don't think I need this in my life. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Wow, that's bright. I kind of like it though. I kind of like it. Do you think I should give this one a shot? Give it a chance? I don't know. It's really not my type of tone, but I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like having something that's not like, that's outside the box a bit. But also, I just decluttered stuff that was outside of the box. So it's like, learn from your mistakes, Amira. But this is brand new and I haven't used it yet. This is literally my first time swatching it. So pretty. I think I'm gonna give this away. I'm gonna learn from my lessons. Like, learn my lesson and not that, because honestly, that's really cute and I probably use it once and then never reach for it again. So I think I just need to be like honest with myself. And honestly, if I'd been honest with myself when I placed the order, I probably wouldn't have bought it at all. But I was like, oh, let's get a fun color. It's like, no, Amira, let's not get a fun color. All right, my 3 phytosurgeons. I had Kindle, Condensate, and Fume. And this is what they look like. They're so pretty. Condensate is very, very, very cool toned on me, but I love it. It is not my shade, but I will make it my shade and I will swatch it for you here. So it looks almost gray. When you blend it in, it kind of just looks rosy. Now on me, it still looks pretty gray because my skin tone is quite neutral. So it just kind of keeps the balance, but I just love it so much. I see it on other people, much paler people than me, who wear this, and it just looks so good on them. And I'm like, if I can make it work. Like, if I pair it with a pink, it actually does look really nice. The shade that I've been wearing the most, that has been my go-to shade practically every day for the past like month, has been Kindle. It's this shade here. Look how stunning that is. It's just, I mean stunning. By the way, spoiler alert, none of these are going anywhere. I just got these not that long ago and I've actually really fallen in love with this formula and now I want to get more of them. I already have a little wish list. So yeah. And this is Fume, and this is really like a mauve-y pink. You see? And what I have done is pair these two together, because if you see, if I pair them together, they actually work really nicely together, because this is actually quite of a neutral pink. But yeah, so those are the 3 shades that I have. I am keeping all 3. And yeah, let's see what I got rid of, guys. Let's count it up. All right. So including the ones that I sat to the side to give away, I decluttered 32 blushes. That is insane. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I am now going to put all the ones that I've kept in their little container, their little drawer, to be put away. And yeah, now we can move on to highlighters. That was quite the declutter. Let's move these out of the way. Alright guys, so these are my highlighters, and I was thinking for a moment if, oh wait, I feel like I'm missing some. I am. Hold please, hold please, hold please. Okay, there we go. Now we have all my highlighters. I'm like, I'm missing things. Okay, so these are all my highlighters. There's gonna be a declutter here, guys, because I don't wear highlighter every day anymore. I love highlighters. I still like having some on hand to reach for when I'm in the mood, but I'm not always in the mood, you know? And so, yeah, let's see what we decide to keep. So first up is the newest to my collection, which was given to me by a friend, and this is the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush Glow in the shade Electric Love. I don't usually go for pink highlighters, but I really like the way this looks. I really love the finish on this. It definitely gives that sort of wet skin look, or like natural glow kind of look, like when the sun hits your skin. So I'm gonna keep this one. I've been wearing it, but I'm also really interested to try another shade of this, because I think if this were in a more like a champagne-y tone, or even like slightly more like golden tone, I would love it even more. But I have been wearing this quite a bit, so this will be staying. I will also be keeping my Charlotte Tilbury Glow Glide Face Architect Highlighter in Rose Gold Glow. She looks like this. She's very golden. I do not use this as a highlighter. I use her as a blush, but I do keep her in my highlighter drawer. Beautiful tone. That over like other blushes. I mean, it's just I mean, that's just like a shimmery, that's like a shimmery blush on me. That's like an orangey shimmery blush, and I'm obsessed. Love it. All right, next up is the Rare Beauty highlighter in Flaunt. This is more like a traditional type of highlighter. It's very glowy. It will emphasize texture, in my opinion. It's not as sophisticated of a formula as the Charlotte Tilbury, but I do like it. I was wearing it quite a bit when I first got it. I haven't reached for it a ton now, but I feel like this is newer to my collection, and if I wanted like that kind of glow, I would rather reach for this than something that's maybe a little bit older. All right, so we have our first declutter of the evening for the highlighters, and that is this shade here. This is Solar Sailor. I've had this one forever, and it's beautiful, but it's just time for it to go. I don't reach for it. I've had it forever. It can go. I will be keeping Prophecy. This is one of my all-time favorite highlighters, and honestly, I don't even wear it as a highlighter. A lot of the time, I wear it as an eyeshadow. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like on, I mean, this shade, y'all. This shade, look at that. Look, this is it here. I mean, and on the eyes, the way it flashes peach and then pink and then gold. Every time I wear this on my eyes, I get so many compliments. People are like, what is on your eyes? It's this. I like it as a highlighter, but I love it even more as an eyeshadow, and it kind of just gets treated that way because this is quite okay there, Car. It's kind of small, you know, so I kind of just treat it as a single eyeshadow. Next up is Chimera from Rituel. I've had this forever. I don't even know if it's any good anymore. It's the one that's really green when you put it on, and I really want to like this because I love the tone, but oh, look at that. But it's just, the thing about Rituel Diffuse highlighters is they're very sticky, and I don't love that. I have to think about this because this is a shade that's very hard. Like, it was a limited edition. They got rid of it. They brought it back. I don't even know if you can still get this. If you can still get it, I might get rid of it. And then if I feel like I want to get it again, I'll repurchase it. But I've had this one for a while, and I just don't reach for it as much as, I mean, I did wear this when I first got it, but it's just kind of like not my jam anymore, you know? I'm just going to get rid of it. There's no point in like trying to make fetch happen, you know? Let's move that drawer out of the way. We're doing good. We're moving along. We're chugging. All right. Now, this is going to be harder for me because even though these are older, these are like some of my all-time faves. Like, these are like the babies of the family, you know? Outside of like Prophecy, these are like my babies. So, yeah, let's get into it. So this one is one of my newer ones. This is the Divine Glow Highlighter in Venus Nectar. I absolutely, look at that. I absolutely love this with my whole heart. This is stunning. I think I bought this last year, guys. It's fairly new. I mean, look at that. Oh, it stays, of course. And Pat makes some of the best highlighters. They're so finely milled and beautiful. This is another one of hers that's not going anywhere, and this is the Divine Rose Ultra Glow Highlighter, and it is a baked formula, and it's just, the formulations are very different from each other, but oh my god, I love them both. So that is Divine Rose, which is more pinky. This one is more like actual peachy, but this one can flash a little peachy pinky. It just, oh, peachy pinky highlighters are like where my heart lives. So if you've got a peachy pinky highlighter, most of these, I did a video ages ago comparing a lot of my highlighters, and that was what the conclusion we all came to, is that Amira really likes peachy pinky highlighters, and you will find that in this little drawer here, and this is going to be hard for me. So next up is my Tom Ford. I only own one Tom Ford product, well, two, and we'll get to that one in another video, but this is the Tom Ford Sheer Highlighting Duo in Reflects Gilt. And this is what it looks like. I'm keeping this, and I only use this shade. It's just like a standard like glowy gold, but the way that this applies on the skin is just very soft and almost natural in the way it applies to the skin when you blend it out with a brush. And I like that when you just kind of want like a nondescript glow. This kind of gives you that. I don't really use the bottom shade. I think it's a little too, I think it's too dark for anybody, to be quite honest. I'm like, who is wearing this shade as a highlighter? It's just got some like tones to it that I feel like are a little gray almost. You see that? It's just kind of, I don't know, but I use the gold shade quite a bit. Next up is the Becca, one of the Beccas. I got this when they were announced they were going out of business, along with this one. So I'll show you both at the same time. So this is the shade, what shade is this? Lilac Geode. And then, let's see, I have the shade. Let's see, come on, baby. Might help if I open you the right way. This is the shade Own Your Light. So this is what these look like. I wear these. I love them. Again, it's peachy pinky. It's peachy pinky. It go nowhere. It's peachy pinky. This one is like pinky peachy. Not peachy pinky, but pinky peachy. Not peachy pinky, but pinky peachy. You know what I mean? They look very different. This is what they look like. They look different here too. And so that's what I mean. They're different. They have very similar vibes, but they're different. They're similar, but they're not the same. All right, and then we have something that I can't get anymore, and I am very, I used to wear this so much, guys. This is the NYX High Glass Finishing Powder in the shade Medium. This was my jam, and I still love it. I don't reach for this as much as I used to, but I'm not getting rid of it. And I don't even feel like that does it justice, because it's kind of just laying in the creases of my hand. But let me just... It's an all-over finishing powder that just gives a glow to the skin. It's beautiful. I'm keeping it. Is it old? Yes. Is it discontinued? Yes. Am I keeping it? Yes. I told you this is going to be the one that's going to be hard for me. All right. This bad boy. Showtime. Okay, so here's the thing. I like this shade, but I don't reach for it that much, and I've tried to make this work for me, and I just, for some reason, can't make it work for me as far as what I apply it with. It just comes off as like, I don't know. It just doesn't give me what I need it to give me. And so I'm kind of like, I've had it forever. Maybe it's just time to get rid of it, you know? It's really pretty though. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this. I think this is my last like ColourPop like face product. Yeah, I think it is. Wow. Okay, so that's going. What's also going is this thing, which was totally a whim, and it's very pretty, but I hardly ever wear it. It is the Bare Doll bronzer from Too Faced in the shade Honey Bun Glow. And you want to know why I bought this? That's why I bought it. This was gold, and I really wish this had stayed gold, because then I would love this more. But honestly, guys, this shade is so freaking pretty. Like, look at that. It's so pretty. It's pretty as like a blush. It's pretty as a bronzer if you have a lighter skin tone. But for like, if you want something that is like deeper and just like, I don't know if you can still get this. Probably not. I think it was limited edition, but look at that. I just don't reach for this anymore. And even though I think it's really, really pretty, I just don't reach for it anymore. So I'm going to get rid of it. All right. This is where it's going to get very hard for me, guys. Okay. Take a deep breath, Amira. Get it done. Okay. So this is the About Face Beauty Light Lock Powder in Light Spun. This one I used so much when I first bought it. It's so pretty. It is incredibly bronzy though. Like, that is a bronze, baby. Look at that. And it's kind of too dark for me, but I was using it as a blush. But now that I have the Charlotte Tilbury one, which is just a better formulation of this, it really is. I mean, look at that. That's the Charlotte Tilbury. Look how soft that is. And then look at that one. They're similar, but you can see that this one is just softer. And so it works better in that way of wanting to be a blush. You know, I can sheer it out a little bit better. So even though I love this and I think it's really a product, I'm gonna get rid of it. Next up is my one and only Ofra product. I got rid of all the others, but this one I didn't get rid of. I couldn't quit it because this is Bali. This is one of my all-time favorite highlighters ever in the history of highlighters. As you can see, why it's peachy pinky. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I don't know. I've gotten rid of all my Ofra because I just don't. I don't. I have to think on this one, guys. This is like one of my favorite highlighters of all time. Like, seriously, of all time. I've gotten rid of other ones because I wasn't using them, and I'm not like blah blah blah. But that one's gonna be hard for me, and I still have lipstick all over my hand for some reason. Okay. This bad. Oh, this is my last ColourPop. I thought that, okay, this is the Super Shock highlighter in the shade Hades. What shade do you think this is, guys? Do you think it's a peachy pinky? Do you think it's a peachy pinky? I think it's a peachy pinky. Look at that. It's so pretty, but it's so old. It's so old. Oh, and again, it's one of those ones I kind of struggle to get to show up on my skin the way I want it to. So, oh my god, am I gonna get rid of you? And I don't know if you guys remember when Angelica like was obsessed with these highlighters from the Disney Villains collection, and I believe one of hers that she was really into was Everybody's Got a Weakness. That's the name of it. It's the Hades one, but it's called Everybody's Got a Weakness. She was just as obsessed with this as I was, and I think she's decluttered hers. So I think it's probably time for me to declutter mine. I think she decluttered hers like a couple of declutters ago, so it's time. Next up is this Dose of Colors one in Melonade. Oh god. Oh god, look how pretty it is. Look at that. And this one's actually kind of too dark for me. I'm gonna put it on my other hand instead of my palm because that's getting annoying. Oh, it's not showing up because I have the highlighter already on there. Okay. Also, this is kind of starting to get a little hard pan, and it's probably just from me swatching it constantly going, oh, look how pretty that is. And I feel like it is kind of old. It's not performing like it used to, but do you see how pretty that is? If they still have this, I might repurchase it. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And if you've ever seen the swatches of this on their website on skin, oh my god, guys. But I gotta get rid of it. It's old. All right. This is also one of my all-time favorite highlighters, and this is from Milani, and this is Hypnotic Lights and Flashing Lights, and I don't even think they make this anymore, which is one of the reasons why I've always been loath to get rid of it, because they don't even make it no more. And then what do you think it is? Do you think it's a Pinky Peachy? Of course it is. Of course it is. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. This one I have to think on, like the Ofra one, because I gotta think on it, y'all. But that's you're asking a lot from me right there. All right, next up is this one from MAC, and this is Snow Flushed. And if you know Snow Flushed, you know what this looks like. Oh, and again, it is a peachy pinky, but it's so glittery, and that's the thing that kills me with this, is that I like to use this on my eyes. And I know this was a single shadow for a really long time, and then they made it into a highlighter. For me, this functions better as a single shadow than it does as a highlighter on me, because I really don't like the glitter particles. Even though it gives you that wet look, I'm just not down with the glitter. So this is one of those ones that I would just use on my eyes, and it's still so stunning, but I just don't use this, and I've had it for ages. This is like the holiday collection from how many years ago? I don't even know. Can't even remember. It was in the 18s. So yeah, it's time to go. Also going is my LH Cosmetics Infinity Highlighter. This is so old, it was back when it was called Linda Hallberg and not LH. I like this one. It's a little nondescript. It's like a nondescript light champagne gold that I could use on my skin when I wanted just like a nice little highlight, but nothing too crazy, but also I just don't reach for it, and it's very old. Next up is my Colored Rain. This one is Your Treat. This is very gold, but I love it. Look at that. Ugh. It's kind of like the Light Lock one, except not quite as finely milled. But this is just too dark for me, so I'm gonna get rid of it. And then this bad boy. This one is gonna be hard because I got rid of Solar Sailor, and this one is very similar to Solar Sailor. This is Give Me Glow Luminous Highlighter in the shade Halo, and this is the old packaging and everything. But I'm just gonna wipe this up. Oh my god. First of all, it picks up so much. I think it's a little too dense of a highlighter, to be quite honest. It's very hard to get this to be soft. You know, look how stunning that is, but it's just kind of too light for me. I just love the shade so much, but I've had this forever, so it's probably time for it to go. It's time for it to go. Okay. I got rid of it. Alright guys, so this is what I'm keeping. I decided to keep the two highlighters that I was thinking on, the Ofra and the Milani. I'm gonna give them another year. If I don't use them within that time, then I'll finally do away with them. But all of these, I was hoping all these would fit in this drawer, but they don't, so that's a bummer. But most of them do, so that's good. Let's count up how many I decluttered, and then let's do a roundup of everything I decluttered in this video. Alright Okay, so I got rid of 11 highlighters, which isn't a ton, but I also don't feel like I had that many highlighters to begin with in comparison to other YouTubers on this platform. You know, other people on this platform, other content creators, beauty in this beauty space, they have quite a bit of highlighters, and I've sort of consistently culled this part of my collection over the past like 2 years that I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at. And then getting rid of this last sort of like batch of older highlighters that even though I love them, I don't reach for them. I've had them too long. I've washed I wiped my hands, but as you can see, this is why I did highlighters last. This is why I did highlighters last. That I feel like this is just me sort of letting go of really old things that I've held on to for far too long. And I've kept things, oh, and I'm keeping, I forgot to put the high glass there, so that goes there. But yeah, I'm keeping things that I know that I love and that I will use and that are not too old, so I feel good about that. So let's count up everything that I got rid of in total. All right, okay, so total it looks like I've gotten rid of 42 items, 41, 42, I may be missing one. And that's including the ones that I put to the side that I am giving away. So that's not bad. I mean, it's not like I didn't get rid of all of my stuff, but I got rid of a fair amount for me. And again, I used to do semi-annual declutter. So I used to declutter like once every 6 months. This is the first year where I didn't do that. So my collection has always stayed fairly curated, but I felt like things were getting out of hand as far as like older things, and so that's what I've been concentrating on so far with this declutter series, is the older things that I just don't use anymore and that I don't want anymore, or that have gone off. I just need to like get rid of them, and they take up more space than I think anything else, because you know, I've been collecting makeup for years and using makeup for years, long before I started my YouTube channel, and a lot of this stuff I had before I started my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is now going into its 3rd year. So yeah, it was time. So let me know in the comments down below, guys, was there anything in here that you were shocked that I got rid of? I shocked myself a little bit with like the highlighters. I got rid of some things that I was on the fence about, and even some blushes as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you in the next episode of this declutter series. Bye now.